Okay, so let's talk about formation subs on defense and packages and audibles and all that good stuff. This gets me excited because there's a lot of really cool things you can do when you go into the formations and you pick your plays that way. If you just pick by play type, uh, it doesn't give you these options, and a lot of the times you can end up coming out in like weird formations that you're not really aware of where your players are playing. But if you pick your plays by formation and you just simplify it yourself and say, okay, multiplayer games of Madden are 4 minute quarters, there's only so many plays people like to run. I'm going to have a run stopping defense like 3-4 odd, and I'm going to pick plays out of that and get comfortable with how my players play and where they play out of 3-4 odd. I'm going to have big nickel, which is like my universal coverage for everything. Not too great at any one thing, but it just really gets the job done for everything. This is my favorite formation in the game personally, just because I feel like it lets me do the most, and the pass rush angles are also really good for a nickel package. And then something like a pure passing defense, like if your opponent just keeps passing every play and they're never running the ball, you might as well just run 2-3-6 or 1-4-6, and you'll have better luck stopping what they're doing the more fast players you have out there. But for this video, I'll just focus on Big Nickel over G because this is the main one that I run. The cool thing about formation subs is you can get your best players in the best spots to succeed dynamically throughout the game. So first things first, with Big Nickel over G, for some reason this is the only package or defense like this on defense. This is the only formation like this on defense where you actually have to go back and click slot corner, click back on the right stick and go to slot cornerback package, and that will fix a lot of the defensive audible issues that it has. This will just make it play like a normal defense. If you just leave it default, for some reason, like sometimes if you try to manually tell a corner or tell a box safety or something like that to go play in a zone, he won't have like the right options available. That's just because this package is a little weird. But if you switch it to slot corner, it fixes all that. Anyway, now we can get into subs. We click right bumper and it opens up the sub menu. And subs will generally go the way that it works. It'll start you on the D line, and then every time you click the right stick over, um, or the left stick, sorry, it'll go left to right across the D line, and then the linebacking core, and then the secondary, and then back to the D line. So you just quickly swap between those three levels of the defense, and you can start swapping and moving these players around. Now this looks really complicated because there's a bunch of players in this depth chart because this is a 53-man real roster, but on something like Mutt, for example, you're only really going to have maybe like 20 players on defense, and so you'll only have 3 or 4 changes that you can possibly make, so this won't look nearly as complicated. Uh, but the reason I picked the Eagles for this is they have a lot of really talented defensive backs, and they have like no talent whatsoever in the linebacking core. So I actually want to take these two linebackers and say, you know what? These guys are trash. They're slow. The only thing linebackers do better than safeties in Madden is block shedding, and I'm kind of trusting on my D line to do the majority of that. I'm going to sub these guys out, and I'm going to get Kayvon Wallace and Rudy Ford in here, and these guys are higher overall players, and they're much faster, and they're much more agile as users, and now we have strong safeties down in the box as opposed to linebackers, and our team is going to play faster, we're going to hit harder, just everything in general is going to be better. Another thing we can do with this is like currently the Eagles have one superstar cornerback that is really like a true shutdown corner in Darius Slay, and they have Fletcher Cox on the D line who will beat his man the majority of the time in pass rush situations and block shedding for runs. let's just say that they have like a really good right guard that keeps lining up against Fletcher Cox and taking him out of the play, essentially making him just play like a normal player because it's like a superstar against a superstar matchup. What I can do is say, okay, well, with defensive subs, dang, they just had like a big gashing run or a play where Fletcher Cox didn't do anything. I go back to the play call screen and next play, and I go, okay, we're going to sub him out and we're going to put him up against the right guard or the left guard. If the right guard was giving him trouble, let's move him to a different spot on the line, and now he's got a more favorable matchup. Brandon Graham, my left end, who's really good, maybe they have a really good right tackle that just keeps bullying him. I can say, Brandon Graham, I'm going to take you out, and I'm going to move you over to this side of the formation. And now maybe they have a really weak left tackle that Brandon Graham can just bully the entire game. The same goes with the secondary and Darius Slay. Maybe they have a great receiver that is just bullying Avonte Maddox over here, and Darius Slay's talents are kind of being wasted guarding a guy that never gets thrown to. I can say, all right, we'll take Nikel Roby-Coleman and put him here, and then we'll move Darius Slay over to where the action is, and this way we can just keep our power puzzle pieces moving throughout the game, and they'll constantly be in a position to make plays based on the offense that you're playing against. So now the last thing to talk about is audibles. And for me, I just like doing this because it lets me switch whatever my defensive play call is up immediately based on what I see on the field. So, like for big nickel, I click left trigger and it opens the audibles tab, and these are the audibles it gives me. I can say, you know what, I want stuff that's a little bit more um, universal than this. So instead of cover 2 man, I'll just have regular cover 2. Instead of the linebacker blitz, I'll have like cover 3 sky. Instead of match, I'll have like quarters. And then I'll have something I really like running like a cover 6 trap. So I'll have like a cover 2, a cover 3, a cover 4, and a cover 6 in here. This way, if I want to do it like this, I can come out in something like a man coverage or a blitz, and then just do a random play. And based on what I see on the field now, with my speedy user in the middle now being a safety instead of a linebacker, another added bonus, your users are always going to be better if you're playing a safety, so you might as well just have more safeties. I see that they're in like a 2 wide receiver set shotgun. I sense there's going to be a lot of wide receiver movement on this play, so instead of staying in my cover 2 man before they hike the ball, I can just quickly audible to a cover 3 or a cover 2 zone, and now I can do something like that where I'm just hot swapping between zone coverages on the fly, and I can do this immediately, and this prevents me from running into the issue where, you know, I might think that I had a good play call on the field, but to find out, you know, just how good it really is, and I get gashed by an offensive play, you know, that I didn't see coming, I can just audible to what I think is going to most likely be the best stop for whatever it looks like they're running. So that's all I got to say about audibles. But yeah, formation subs, really the most important out of those 3 is just make sure you're putting your guys in positions to succeed. And you're using the same formations repeatedly so you get really comfortable with where they are on the field. And it'll make your defense a lot better as a result.